Welcome, everyone. I am Cervan Girard, and I am a clinical data scientist at Novo Nordisk. We are here with Lovemore to talk about the work package. Lovemore, could you introduce yourself, please?
Good day, Cervan, and good day to everyone around the world who's joined us today. My name is Lovemore Gakava, and I work in the Atmos team, where we are working on outsourcing internal biostatistics packages. Over to you, Cervan.
Thank you, Lovemore. Yes, exactly. We are focusing on our packages and try to build some tools for biostatisticians. And tomorrow it could be also another packages from other open source tools. So, a small disclaimer, what we will say today is only our point of view, not the point of view of Novo Nordisk. So, as you know, Lovemore, I am here to ask you some questions about the whirl package. And the first one will be, what are the motivation behind this package?
Thank you very much, Cervan. So our journey begins with our first ARA submission to the FDA, where we had developed our internal ARA packages for this reporting. And we embarked on the journey of outsourcing these packages so that they can be available to everyone in the open source and also help other companies in their journey to their own ARA submissions.
Okay, nice. But why you have decided to open source a package that will log the execution of Stripe? Because I know that some other packages already exist, like logrx, for example, or logr.
Thank you. And that's a great observation because some of the packages that we had used internally, they are equivalents that are out there in the open source. In the case of the logging functionality, we did reach out to already existing packages like logrx in particular. After talking to the developers for logrx, we realized that our design and our functionalities were different to what they have. And hence, we agreed with both parties that we could go ahead and add our option also into the playing field so that other people can also use.
Again, thank you, Lovemore, for this information behind for us to understand the motivation. Maybe it will be easier for our users if they see how whirl works and see what they could do with whirl. So maybe you could make a small demo for the package.
Thank you very much, Seven. Let's switch to the ARA Studio workbench. So in here, I have a project already launched. We have the code, which we see. We have the root, the working directory. So I'll go to the terminal. All you need to do is to type run and then the name of your code. So I'm going to choose EG script and then hit enter. And then it executes.
Of course, I could imagine that you have load the package first to make it available inside your R station.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, and what will be the result of this run function?
Right. As we can see, if you're running it on the console, it's talkative. You can see the steps as it's going through. And then what you have now for those eagle-eyed people online, that there is now a file called summary.html, which didn't exist. So if you open your summary.html, it will have information regarding the directory where your script is, the name of your script, and the status, whether it was a success or not.
Okay, nice. So I could imagine that it is green because it was a success, right?
Correct. Green is associated with good things. So here it means that it's a success. So to view the log, you then click the hyperlink, which will open the log. It's good to say that the log has been created inside where your code, where your script is. So that's where the log has been created. And then as you can see, you have the path of your log, your summary, script, session info, platform, packages, environmental variables, option settings.
Okay, so from here I am able to see all of those information I could imagine, and that's really nice. But as you know me, I'm not really I prefer to do everything that I have to do inside my RStudio. So maybe can I retrieve those information inside my session?
Gladly. So when you execute a script, you can actually store the results of that script in an R object. In this case, if we retrieve the previous command that we typed, and we can store this information in, say, an object called results. So if we execute that, what will happen is the result will store the object of the results that you've seen in your log, except it won't have the script information. It will have your status. It will have other information as the environmental variables, the option settings, the session info. Yeah.
And I could imagine that it would be really useful when you want to send what was the result of your script to another colleague, for example.
Correct. So just to expand this, as you can see, we can go results, dollar to see what is returned. So if we just say result to observe it, what was created, so it creates a table. And that table has a column of result. So you can drill down to that result column, and you can retrieve information that you saw in the script, like your status, telling you that's a success. You can receive information regarding your log details. So where your log is stored and where your script is from. And the final bit, which will be interest of the system options, will be your session info RLS.
So I can see that we have, so the output of the function is some HTML files. Do we have any other options than HTML files?
We do have added functionality to create on top of the HTML file. You can create the different flavors of Markdown. So you can create the GFM, you can create a common Markdown, or you can create a Makua. And then on top of that, you can select to create the output format as the JSON file.
Okay, nice. From now, I would love to talk about the script and especially that we have seen that you have only run one script. And my question is how I can run multiple scripts if I need it.
Yeah, I know, Cervan, you are the epitome of conservation of energy. You don't want to expend too much energy than what is required. And we've got you covered here. So you can have with our run function, you can specify more than one script, but you have to specify them as a column vector. So for example, here, I will go eg script, select script one, which we haven't run. You can specify the second script where you go, okay, eg.
I'm so sorry, Lovemore, but
Yeah.
as I can see here, then it means that I will also have to specify 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. Do I have something even faster than that?
Yes, there is. So with that, instead of specifying it as a list, you can use your wildcards. So in your wildcards, you can have eg, anything starting with eg, and then you can use wildcard that. So this will run everything. So you won't really need all that. You just need that. You don't need that. And when you run this, it will go to the code folder, look for everything that starts with eg underscore, finishing with the .r. It will execute those scripts.
Okay, super nice. From our previous example, when we have run 2 scripts, then we had to wait for the first one to be done before the second one started. Do we have any way to make them run in parallel instead of sequentially?
Thank you, Cervan. Again, great question. And for those in the audience who are eager-eyed, you'll realize there's information that we are getting when we're executing our scripts. Here it says, executing scripts in parallel using one cause. What that means is cause here is a reference to an other session. It means we are using one RR session to execute the first script and the second script. And these are being done sequentially. But we can run this actually in parallel by spinning more RR sessions. So in this case here, if I take the previous command, I can specify the number of workers with an argument for number of workers. And with the number of workers, you can specify how many sessions you need. So in this case, we've got 2 scripts. We can specify you need 2 workers, which means that these 2 scripts will be executed in parallel instead of sequentially. So as you can see, it took 15.4 seconds to run the script from the start to the end, both of them. So it took the longest time for the other script.
And maybe I have another question for you, Lovemore. As you know me, I really enjoyed working with project or using the CI and so on. Do I have a way to specify steps inside the configuration file, for example, to run the script as I would like to make them run?
Yeah, this is one of the powerful features that we have in whirl, being able to configure a project. So that you need to create a YAML file. So if we go to code, we've already prepared a YAML file for you that we're calling config_example YAML. So with this, it specifies the steps, you give the name of the steps, the path of the script that you want to execute. And then you can specify as many steps as you need and as many scripts that you want. You can even use here wildcards. It will still function the same as you are typing. So in this case here, we would have run, similar to what we had before, and then you specify your config, and then you execute.
Okay.
And then as you can see, it will run through your steps, the nice summary information that you get in the console.
This is really powerful because I could imagine a use case that the first step you execute the I don't know, the preparation of Adam datasets, for example, and the second step you can prepare or you can recreate the TFLs, for example. So that's super nice.
That's a nice observation there, Cervan, because just related to that, you can have it set up, extending that further, as you mentioned. You can, in those pre-processing steps in your Adams, you can specify those in the order that you want them to be executed.
Another topic from my side, here inside the console, sorry, I can see that we have a lot of text. The package is really nice, but it is also really verbose, if I can say that. Do I have a way to reduce this amount of information, especially when I would like to use DCI, for example?
Yes, so we also have another control measure where you can use options to control this much information, but it extends further to that. We have all the other options which we encourage users to look at. But for this example, you can specify options where you want to control the verbosity level. And then you have 3 options. You can have it set to quiet, which means you don't only register the successful step. You can have it to minimal, which reduces the amount. It's between the verbosity and quiet. And then you've got verbosity, which is what we have now as the case. And in this case, we will select the verbosity level to minimal. So we specify minimal, and then we can run our script as before. I'll just pick the example that we did before, which was EG, the first one, EG script R. And then if we run now, you'll see we get less information coming into our console.
Maybe I have one last question, and it's not really about the package itself and what it does, but it's more about you told us that this package comes from a private repo at the beginning of it. Could you maybe explain that what you had to do to make it available to the public, so to make it open source?
So our journey started with our inner developed packages, and with these inner developed packages, we were thinking, okay, how do we outsource them? Now, what we can encourage people to do is to have a chat with legal and licensing before really starting the process of outsourcing. So in our case, legal gave us very valuable input on the risks that we face when we chose different type of licenses. And then the other challenge that we have was, how do we then remove sensitive information from our packages, as to ensure that whatever we're putting out to the public doesn't have infringement on the Novo information that we have. So we developed our package in internal GitHub enterprise. And then the next thing that people might want to think about is, how do you migrate from that internal to public? So in our case, we're so much help from IT, which we managed to migrate from our internal to public without too many hassles. And things that are actually standing out for now is, we want to have this package added out to pharmaverse, and we want to publish it on CRAN. And then for those that are now thinking about, how do you get your hands on this whirl package? Well, we've got good news for you, Cervan. So the good news is, the package is publicly available. You can install it by following the instructions shown on the screen, and there's instruction to load the package. And then you can run it on your single script, you can run it on your config file. And then for other information, there is a link to the documentation where you can find more examples. And if you have need any help or any questions, please don't hesitate to write an email to author@novonordisk.com. With that, I'd like to thank you. Over to you, Cervan.
So much, Lovemore, for all this information, and we will be happy to answer to your question.
Maybe to, yeah, you're welcome. Maybe to start the ball rolling, I had this burning question the moment I saw this feature in whirl. I was just wondering, when you generate the logs, especially for multiple logs, is there a way to identify warnings or errors? Because I wouldn't want to run the whole batch until the end and then realize that there was something in the beginning that I needed to address and rerun the thing again.
That's a great question. Yeah, so what we did mention maybe in the recording is, you can have a config file that you can set up. In that config file, you can specify if one step fails, that it doesn't execute or it skips further steps. So you can have that set up in your config file. Cervan, please add anything I've missed there.
No, but you have said, Lovemore, it's perfect. If we have especially errors, then it will stop to for the other scripts to run. So you don't have to. You still have to wait, because then they will go to all the scripts just to tell you that they will not run, but it's quite fast anyway.
So for all these logs, compared to SaaS logs, is there anything that's missing?
I think it's a plus for having more information coming through. I will share my screen if that's possible. Okay, I'll just share my screen just to add a few more maybe information that was not covered in the. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, one other thing that you can do is, you can actually include an option to check for the error, if you're using RMF, whether they are in sync or not. So that's what I've run on this one, this example. So this shows that in this project, these packages are out of sync. And then you've got additional information like here in SaaS, as I think I've seen people in different organizations writing other scripts to check all their logs for errors and everything else. So here you have the summary right at the top, so that you know what you have. So if you are running multiple scripts, you have your summary like that. And then at a glance, you can see, if everything was run as a success or not. So in this example that I pulled out, what's in red already draws you to the eye, and you see that it's an error. What is in yellow, it's a warning. and what is in green, you have, that is not successful. But other additional information here, you have your actual script, you have its step of execution, which is similar to SAS logs, because you can see what the output is depending, of course, on the options you have set. But here you can see that same information coming in. So I will think that with this solution that we have, it actually adds more to what SAS has.
That's excellent. Thank you. We have a question from the audience, from Jeremy. So does the run function work with R Markdown or Quattro scripts? And if so, if there's any need to change or add anything in the run command?
You want to answer that, Cervan?
Yes, you just have to specify your R Markdown file or your Quarto file. So you have nothing else to do than using the run function and, for example, I don't know, report.rmt, and it will works as expected. And for fun, I don't know if it's fun or not, but you can also do it for a Python script.
Okay, so that's highly possible. Anything else from the audience? If not, then I thank you, Lovemore and Cervan, for a wonderful presentation and for all the answers. And we hope that you will share the slides with us as well.
Thank you so much, Stephen. And we're open to collaboration. Please, people, check out our GitHub site. If you've got any questions or improvements, anything, drop them in the issues. If you want to collaborate, fork the repo and yeah, do the pull request. Thank you.
So the slide decks will be really detailed. So just to.
Yeah, okay. We will we will take it and yeah, see if it's ready for sharing.